Hello, this is Benjamin from English Classes Online. I am your English teacher, and in today's lesson, our focus will be on the read and speak question time. In the Duolingo English Test, this question usually occurs. You are given a topic and a number of questions, and you are asked to respond to it. So we are going to look at this question time. I'm going to give you some tips on how to answer this type of question, and we are going to go through some examples. So let's get started right away. First, with the top tips. 90 seconds in all, minimum 30 seconds. What does this mean? It means that you are allowed to speak for as long as 90 seconds in responding to the whole question tag, this particular question tag. But you have a minimum of 30 seconds. That means you should speak for not less than 30 seconds. Here is what you must avoid. Some students think that they have only 30 seconds within which to speak, but that is not true. Preferably 70 to 90 seconds. Because the more you speak within the time given, the more you score marks under fluency. In DET, fluency is defined as the amount of words or the volume of speech you can give within a given period of time. Of course, there are other ingredients that make up fluency, but speaking for as much as you can is part of it. Now, the next thing is that you are given 20 seconds to read and understand the question prompt. Make sure you use the 20 seconds wisely. How do you use it? Use it to focus your attention on the question prompt. Then plan quickly what you are going to say. And then the moment you click on the record button or the recording begins automatically, then you start to speak. Now, the next thing is that you can still see the questions on the screen even while speaking and recording. And this makes it easier for you. All right, so make sure you maximize that advantage. How do you do that? Focus your attention on the question prompt and make sure you answer all the questions. You are given a topic and then you are given about 3 to 4 questions. These questions should serve as the guide to guide you on where to begin and where to stop. Now, you must also ensure that you speak as naturally as you can about the topic. Focus your attention on the topic and don't digress. And don't speak like someone who is reciting a memorized answer. The more confident you sound and the more naturally you can speak, the more you are considered a proficient user of the language. Then you should also try to use transition and linking phrases. What do I mean by this? Even in essay writing, you are taught to start a paragraph with a linking phrase to start with, moreover, furthermore, in addition, finally, or in conclusion. No, these are transition words or linking phrases. And when you use them, you demonstrate your proficiency in the use of the language. Avoid filler words. Filler words are those hesitation signs, like, you know, to avoid things like that because they are danger signals. They indicate that you lack fluency. Fluency is the natural flow of your speech, like water flowing from its natural source. And when you speak, communicating your ideas in a flowing manner, you are considered to be fluent. Speak for as long as you can. I must emphasize once again and give examples where necessary. Now let's begin to look at this question type, samples of this question type. Now you can see you are asked to prepare to speak for at least 30 seconds about the question below. Some students get confused here. They think that they are asked to speak for 30 seconds. They think that 30 seconds is all that they have. No. At least means not less than. But don't forget that you can speak for as long as 90 seconds. So why not maximize that time you are given? Speak for as long as you can. Okay? Now, look at the topic. Talk about a hobby or activity that you enjoy doing. Then look at the questions. The first question, what is it? The second question, how long have you been doing it? The third question, who do you do it with? The fourth question, why is it important to you? So the natural way to respond to this is to begin with the first question. But do not behave or present your answer like a primary school pupil or even a secondary school student. Don't go straight and say, the hobby I like or the activity I enjoy is this or that. No. When presenting a speech, what do? You begin with a hook, an attention-grabbing sentence, a general statement about the topic. All you need to do is to make sure you are talking about the topic. And what is the topic here? A hobby or an activity you enjoy doing. You can say, for example, I have a number of hobbies right from my childhood days or right from my school days, such as singing, reading, playing football, listening to music, and so on and so forth. Now you are talking about the topic. You can say, however, one hobby that I really began to enjoy most right from my adolescent days or right from whichever time you want to talk about is singing. Let me share my own personal experience to give you an example. And then you can say, I would like to talk about this because that is the hobby that has really stuck with me and which I enjoy most up until this day. You see, you are now giving an indication that there is indeed a hobby that you enjoy. You have mentioned a number of hobbies you have been conversant with, but there is one you want to talk about which you really enjoy doing. Don't forget that you are yet to specify it in answer to the question, what is it? So you can say, frankly speaking, you can see the use of connectives or linking phrases. I love singing praises to God pretty much all the time. See, you have called a spade a spade. Singing praises to God is the hobby you like. And you can add some spices. For example, I can say it didn't happen naturally, as most people would say about their own hobbies. Mine happened supernaturally, I must say. And here you are creating curiosity in the mind of the listener. And that wins the admiration of whoever is listening to you. Then you can tell a story because it's all about your personal experience. I can say, for example, it all started when I experienced a new life in Christ as a young boy 25 years ago. Before then, I had no idea how to compose a new song, neither had I ever written a stanza of a song in my life. But as I joined other Christians in singing praises to God during fellowship, I began to develop more interest in singing praises to God. What am I doing here? I'm now beginning to answer the third question. I have already answered the second question. How long have you been doing it? You heard me mention 25 years ago. It depends on how young you are. Okay? Then you estimate the time you began to enjoy this hobby or you started doing it. You know, how long you have been doing it. I mentioned it began as a childhood, and then I developed more interest in it as a young boy 25 years ago. I have answered that question. The next question is, who do you do it with? And that is the area that I have answered when I said I joined other Christians in singing praises to God during fellowship. And that made me develop more interest in singing praises to God. So you can add other spices and you can talk about how singing became an inseparable part of your daily life. You know, the the issue is that you enjoy it. That's the real thing. So talk about how you enjoy it. In my own experience, I can say at a point, I saw myself singing new songs that I didn't sit down to compose. A new song would just jump into my spirit, and I would start singing it as the tone became clearer to me, as if I had known it for a long time. All right? And that was how singing became a major part of my daily life. Now, I have answered the question, who do you do it with? I do it with other Christians. And you can still add spices in that direction. For example, I can say since then, I've been enjoying sharing my new songs with other Christians during fellowship and at special gatherings, such as camps and crusades. I'm now inching closer to answering the last question, which is, why is it important to you? You can follow my development, how this hobby developed, and we are getting to a point where I will tell you why it is really very important to me. Then I can continue and say, this hobby is particularly important to me because of the motivation and encouragement that each new song gives me. All right? You see, I have specifically answered this question, why it is important. But I can even go further. For example, I can say, but what is even more significant about my experience of singing praises to God is the way it deepens my faith in God and increases my ability to think positively. Isn't that really important? Then you can wrap up by saying it enables me to face life each day, believing that I will achieve my goals through His abundant grace. It's my personal experience. Share your personal experience from your own angle, from your perspective. You know, when a topic is given to about 10 different persons, there are likely to be 10 different perspectives. Two people's experiences must not be the same. So you talk out of your own experience, and that's how to do it. Now let's look at the next sample. I want you to look critically at the screen. Usually you are asked to prepare to speak for at least 30 seconds about the question below. But don't forget, you have up to 90 seconds. At least means not less than. The topic is this: discuss a time when the weather forced you to change your plans. When did this happen? What kind of weather was it? Explain why you had to change your plans. Begin with the first question, but not just in a straightforward manner. There's nothing wrong if you do that, but you need to begin in a professional manner to win more marks. And here's what you can do. Let me show you particularly. Now you can say, for example, I remember being unable to attend a cousin's marriage feast due to unpleasant weather. You are not talking about the topic. It is about how an unpleasant weather, uh, prevented you from an important occasion, something like that. All right. Now, you can say the marriage feast was scheduled for 11 a.m. on a Saturday. You are now answering, when was it? When did it happen? You are now relating a story. It's an event that you missed attending because of bad weather. You can continue by saying, before 9 a.m., I had dressed up to leave, ready to leave, because I needed to board a bus in order to get to the place, because it usually takes more than an hour moving from my place to my cousin's place of residence. Unfortunately, I noticed that the sky was very cloudy when I stepped out of my room. I quickly tried to take a bike to the bus station, but that very moment, we had the sound of a thunderstorm accompanied by lightning and high winds. So you can see, this is the description of the type of weather. What kind of weather? What was it? You are now describing it. You are talking about rainfall, which is so heavy that it won't allow you to go out. Once you have mentioned this, then you can say, well, in view of this development, I ran back into my house and I really felt downcast when I discovered that the rain continued to fall endlessly. Okay? And you can say that when the rain eventually subsided, it was too late for me to embark on the journey to my cousin's marriage feast. The streets were all flooded, and there was no bike, taxi car, or bus in sight. You are describing a situation that you couldn't help. Now, you are now coming to the question, why did you cancel this? You have just given the picture of that. And all you need to do is to say, at last, I decided to cancel the journey since it was obvious that I had no means of leaving my house at that particular point in time because of the heavy rainfall. I later called my cousin on the phone to explain why I couldn't attend the occasion. He accepted my explanation and added that the same rain fell heavily in his own area. You have given an account, and most importantly, you have tailored your speech in answer to the three questions. All right? So let's take the next sample. Always focus on the question prompts. Discuss your favorite technological gadgets. Then look at the questions. What is it? Who gave it to you? Why do you use it? Begin with what is it, but always with a hook, a general statement on the topic that is meant to grab the attention of whoever is listening. That is very, very important. Okay? So let's attempt to do that. You can say, to start with, I have used many different types of technological gadgets. In fact, I have gotten so used to some of them that I don't even know how I could ever do without them. For example, the mobile phone, the laptop, and the television can easily form my top three. You are now saying you are talking about technological gadgets. There are some of them that you are really conversant with. But among these three, you are going to pick one that you regard as your favorite. What is your favorite is the best among others, the one you enjoy most. All right? Now, we could say, for example, it's really difficult for me to say which of them is my favorite gadget because I use each of them so often. However, I really enjoy using the mobile phone every now and then. You see, you are now beginning to inch closer to answering the question, what is it? You want to call a spade a spade. And then you can combine this with the second question, who gave it to you? Look at how I want to do it. A friend of mine gave me a new Android phone recently, and it has become my favorite gadget because it allows me to perform many different tasks and enjoy different types of entertainment, even much more than I can get from the laptop and television put together. You are now explaining why the mobile phone is your favorite. Now, you can still explain further. You can use a transition word or a linking phrase. You can say moreover or furthermore. The mobile phone enables me to install all kinds of applications or all kinds of apps that make tasks easier and make life worth living. For example, my mobile phone has a Bible, a dictionary, a music box, a radio set, a library of books, a typewriter, and so on and so forth. See, you are relating your personal experience, and this your experience is also relatable because other people must have had similar experiences. So you have answered the main questions. All that is required is for you to really explain, I mean, with a conclusion, why you really use it. You can say finally, or above all, or in conclusion. It is the mobile phone that really enables me to communicate with my family and friends and business associates. See, you have spoken about that topic. That is all that is required. Now, let's look at the last sample. And this last sample is also something that we are all familiar with. Describe a place that you have visited recently. Where is it? When did you visit this place? To whom did you visit this place? Why do you like this so much? Now, what do you do? All you do is begin with question number one, but do it more professionally. Start with a general statement that will grab the attention of the listener. For example, I can remember three important places of interest I visited recently, such as the National Museum and the Bar Beach in Lagos and the zoo at the University of Ibadan in Oyo State. But the one I enjoyed most was my visit to the Bar Beach. See, you have specified, you know. This is one of the biggest beaches in my country, and it is also one of the most attractive tourist centers. So you are now talking about it. The next thing is for you to explain when the visit happened and to whom or with whom. For example, you can say the visit to the Bar Beach happened 2 weeks ago, and it was at the instance of a friend of mine who got married recently. His wife came to Lagos from the remote village in the eastern parts of the country, and my friend wanted to take his new wife to some places of interest in the city of Lagos. As they requested me to accompany them to the Bar Beach specifically, I gladly agreed. See, you have answered the questions while also relating your experience. Then what else can you do? You can add some spices to show why you enjoyed that visit, that experience. You can say that visit gave me the opportunity to stand on the shore of that vast pool of water and watch the ocean rise and fall in its characteristic manner. Now, anyone who has gone to the Bar Beach in Lagos will understand the experience I am relating. And most of the time, it is important you relate your real life experience because you can talk about it more clearly than any other thing, I have been to the bar beach, so I can describe what anyone can find there. All right. Then I can go further to say I enjoyed the feeling of refreshment that comes with the sea breeze and the sight of various tourists in their makeshift tents. People build tents at the bar beach and you can see them. They just want to relax and spend some time. Another thing I enjoyed was watching my friend and his wife on a horse. If you are conversant with some beaches, you will understand that some people offer horse riding services. So this is an experience that is relatable too. Then you can add, I became their photographer, and that gave me the opportunity to discover the kind of amazing photographs my new mobile phone can be used to produce. See, this is your own unique experience. Speak about it from your own unique angle. That is all that is required. And this is where we are going to draw the curtain on today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed today's class. We have been looking at the read, then speak question time in the Duolingo English speaking test. Of course, this is part of the speaking test, although you will have to understand that Duolingo English test is slightly different from IELTS and other proficiency tests in the sense that DET uses what is called the adaptive test. And it means that the questions are not classified into separate classes or sections. The questions are generated digitally, and all you need to do is to know exactly how to answer each type of question so that at whichever point it appears in the test, you are ready and you will do justice to it. So that is how it has been in today's lesson. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, leave them in the comment section below. I will insert some links to certain resources and material that you might find useful in your preparation for the test. I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Goodbye for now, and remain blessed.